No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host SwampSimmer, and with me as always, the big bird to my cookie monster, Vespasian.
There we go. That's a great one. I like that. And nothing to unpack there. It's just fun. Hey, everybody.
Nothing wrong with Sesame Street. Nothing wrong with Sesame Street. Hey, so, we haven't talked about what other fantasy media we have been consuming lately, and guess what just started on HBO? House of Dragons, which is the prequel series of Game of Thrones. And I was hugely into Game of Thrones. Were you into Game of Thrones? I think so. Like, everyone was.
Yeah, I was a fan of the books before the show even came out, and then definitely got into the show. Started, I think, as with most people, started to lose interest in sort of like later seasons. But big fan of the books and his writing style.
So you might be able to answer this about the House of Dragons. I don't know if they're based on any actual writing.
There is it's called Fire and Blood. I haven't read it, to be candid, but there is a book that it is based off of, and it's a prequel. Let me I can quickly look it up while we're talking.
Well, anyway,
it tells the story. It tells the story that this show is based off of.
I have watched the episode one dropped. I really enjoyed it. When I look back at it, nothing was like, oh, that was amazing, but it was just like it had the feel of Game of Thrones, the original series. Like it takes you back there. I felt pretty good about it. I don't know if it was as good as Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, the show, was so damn good, but it was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. Just the gruesomeness, nakedness, gore factor that HBO does is there, but
with more dragons.
Yes, much more dragons. Also, they clearly state at the beginning of the episode like what the time difference is. It's something like 150 years between this show and the original Game of Thrones. So, like they clearly tell you like this is generations before the original show. Anyway, you should check it out, Vespasian. You viewers should check it out, and let me know what you think in the comments below.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching. I mean, as fans of the channel know, I'm a big fan of dragons, so I'm excited to have the dragon quotient dialed up to 11. And I think, like, conceptually, I think it's a little bit. I wish that what they had done for this prequel was the actual rebellion. Led to the overthrowing of the Targaryens that were sort of the immediate precursor of the events of the Game of Thrones show, because I think that it just would have anchored everybody a little bit more. They'd be familiar with the concepts. You get to see these characters that you loved, who died, kind of reborn and see their glory days, like, before King Robert was a worthless sack, and before Ned was a literal quiet man, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think it would have been cool to see that. Hopefully if this gets good support, maybe that could be a future version. But I'm looking forward to it.
Spoiler free. I'm not going to say anything. They do like heavily reference the show. Like there are some story elements in here that connect it with the original show. So if you're looking for that, it's there. But
it should be good.
But let's get to the battle report. Let's see here. We are on to my round 3 of Silicon Hammer 2022, San Jose, California. I am up. I have gotten round 1, I got a 20. Round 2, I got a 20. I'm on 40 points. This is typical SwampSimmer fashion. This is, I'm going to fly too close to the sun, get burned, and fall. So we'll see what happens in this episode. But I get paired into Evan from Phoenix. Evan's a good guy. I played him a bunch of times. Good player. He loves his Infernal Dwarves. we'll see how this goes. I think it's walking into it, I'm like, this is not a good matchup for the beast herd, so we'll see what we'll do. It's refuse flank, capture the flags. If you are interested in my list, please click the link right above my head. It'll take you to the round 1 video where we go into my list in a little more detail. But he took, let's see here, Prophet General, Master on Alchemy, ugh, not good. Turok Commissioner BSB, pretty standard, Infernal Weapons, a Temple Lamasu, an Apprentice on Witchcraft. Does a Temple Lamasu still have spells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got that mechanic where he can get he gets 2 spells and then he makes you pick the Lamasu's riddle.
Yeah.
Either he gets an extra channel or an extra spell.
Yeah.
So after 3 spells.
So he's got 3 casters there. And he's got 23 Citadel Guard with Flintlock Axes. He's got 29 levies with Spear and Shield and a Flaming Standard. 20 Vassal levies with paired weapons and bows. 5 Turok Anointed with Infernal Weapons. 6 Kadim Incarnates. An Infernal Engine with a Titan Mortar. The Fast Cav, and then an Infernal Engine. 1 Titan Mortar on an artillery piece, 1 Titan Mortar on the engine.
Yeah.
Oh boy. It's looking scary for me. And then,
I mean, I think double Titan Mortar for your blocks, obviously pretty rough. He's got lots of spells. The one thing I talked to Evan quite a bit about this list before the tournament. The one thing that I wish he had was more ways to proc the oil skins from range, right? So he's just got the 1 unit of levies with bows. So that's one thing. But with alchemy, he has lots of ways to throw out flammable for combat, and I mean it's a tough one. He's got a lot of tough units, lots of range damage, lots of different tricks. So yeah, I agree. I don't think this is a great match for you.
It's not good. So, you know, for the special model you get for this scenario, the fun scenario, like he took the rickety steam tank, which is the steam tank right here in the center. And I broke the mold. I think the only one I took the dumb frost mammoth.
Right.
And I think the reason why I took it, because beasters really suffer with agility most of the time, and that -2, I think he lowered it from 3 to 2 with this special character. That -2 agility, what I thought would have been really helpful with my beast herds, but then I run into dwarves, and it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah.
Yeah,
a gun like dwarves.
Round. Yeah.
So a little bit of bad choice, but whatever. So I've got my Centaur with my BSB on the far left here. A Wildhorn block, Gargoyles, Minotaur block, Gargoyles, Wildhorns, 2 Giants, the Frost Mammoth behind them, and another unit of small Centaurs. Now let's see, on his side, there's his Turok Anointed with the BSB in there. He's got the Vassal Levies with, I think, his character, the wizard character in there. The Temple Lamasu's behind the steam tank. His Fast Cav there. This is the tank with his Titan Mortar, his Flintlock Axes, and with the Titan Mortar on an artillery piece behind them. And then these are the ones with bows, the Vassal Levies with bows, and then the Incarnates over here on the right.
Yeah.
He dropped everything to go first. So this is my response to him. I knew I wanted to get in front of the Turok Anointed. So this is why I set up kind of left, and also it just makes sense with the the diagonal deployment, and also the way he set up, I could get the Centaurs over here out of his charge arc.
And you've kind of counter deployed the Titan mortars, right? They're not, like, the one on the tank is not very long range, and the other one has got that big hill blocking first turn. So I think pretty sharp. You got to be careful with the little Centaurs because they're scoring, right? Would you just have them be not drunk the whole time?
I always make them drunk because I don't want them to flee. This is my old thinking about centaurs, but in the nowadays I'm like, I don't know, the Vanguard's pretty good. So,
and in flags, it's not actually nice to not have the small, like easy to kill unit. Not,
and it's the fearless. Like he kills 2 or 3 of them with light shooting, and then they run off the board.
That's true. Yeah.
So he takes the first turn. And he does something I don't expect. With his Torok Anointed, he kind of turns and kind of runs into the center of the board, which was not what I was expecting.
Do you have charges with the Minotaurs into them?
It would be a long charge for both the Minotaurs and the Centaurs.
Fair enough.
I can't remember the actual dice number, the number on dice, but it was a long charge. And then he does some shooting, but nothing crazy round 1. I'm just going to jump to the next photo and you'll see the result of the shooting. So yeah, I had long charges of both. I decided not to. He did like nothing with shooting with round 1. Now that I look at it. The giant takes a wound, nothing crazy. And then I push up on the left. I don't know why I didn't push up.
Not very aggressively though. Right?
That's what I did.
Can you flop back?
Yeah.
I guess it's fairly okay.
I push up. I wanted to maintain my battle line. I know I could have gone farther with these centaurs. I think I went for the long charge to the rear of his Torok Anointed and didn't make it and failed the charge.
No downside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then with exactly as you said, these scoring centaurs, I kind of turned them around and looped them back into the center of my lines because they're just going to get shot off anyway. So yeah, and then I pushed the centaur block up to the hill and kind of hide behind it. So we'll see. So top of 2.
How do you like do you like the giant incarnate fight on the right, or I'm guessing by your move here that you don't?
I don't. I was planning to slow them down and sweep from the left. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I get Blackwing Totem off on my Minotaur unit to hopefully do a long charge, which is great. And I think I skipped a turn here. Yeah, so in his turn, he doesn't move very much. He just does more shooting. He continues to move his Torok Anointed farther into the center of the board. And then this is my bottom of 2. I just continue to push up. I probably should have gone harder here because I was afraid of the steam tank charge. Really, I probably should have gone harder.
Use 5 dice boosted spectral blades.
Yeah, but I don't know where he's gonna go into. That's the problem. I want the charge on him. I don't want him to charge me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a game that you didn't have that central Wildhorn block on the hill when his anointed were turned away from you.
Yeah,
then you would be in a great position.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
What is that little unit in the lee of the hill there? Or is that just like a...
That's his fast cab. He moved his fast cab up to chaff.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, he moved the fast cab in front of my Blackwing Totemed Minotaurs to stop them, and then I just charged their face and killed them, and then reformed to there. I did some chaff clearing there. Yeah, and this is after my turn 2. So and you can see I'm starting to take a little wounds here. There's a Minotaur missing, and both the giants have taken wounds. I'm taking casualties, but not that much, which is nice. And then things change. So this is after his turn, and he moves his Torok Anointed to where they are here. And the big event that happens in his shooting phase is since one of my Minotaurs died, my Minotaur Warlord is exposed to his artillery weapons. He hits with all 3, My Minotaur survived the first two, and the third freaking Titan Mortar kills my Minnow Warlord in top of turn 3. It was not good. It was not good.
Brutal.
He took 2 of them to the face. He took a cannon and a Titan Mortar to the face, survived, and then the third one was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah, I mean, it probably should be. Wow, brutal. Okay, yeah, that's a big piece to lose, sort of mid-game, for sure.
Yeah. And then I go for, I think, a multi-charge into his spears over here at the top. I think I was trying to get my Minotaurs in also, but they didn't make it. My plan was to hang a unit off the edge and have, if I blow through the unit, have them overrun into the steam tank. But I didn't. I only made it with those 2 units, so it wasn't that exciting. I throw the gargoyles up.
Levy unit, right?
Yeah.
Not the unit.
Yeah. The spear and shield levy unit. And then he gives me an easy charge with the wild horns into his anointed. And I'm gonna throw him in, and I'm like, if I can get the right buffs off, I can take off this unit. That was my thought process. And then I channel his or I chaff his incarnates, which I can do forever because I've got 3 monsters here. That's how it is. And then yeah, okay, so I forgot to take pictures for a lot of turns, so I'm gonna have to just talk you through it. So the combat with the wild horns and the Torok Anointed, I don't get special blades. He stops special blades, and I get the +1. I get blooded horn, +1 attack, +2 AP, and +1 strength off.
Yeah.
So that my wild horns have a bajillion attacks at strength 5, AP 4.
Nice. Wow.
I go in there. I don't whiff, but I don't roll well, and I kill the back rank, kill 3 guys. He comes back and rolls bonkers, and we push combat because of it, and I don't break him.
Okay. Little
scary. Over on the left, I anticipate blowing through this unit, and I just don't do enough, and he just tears into me. And I think I maintain. I don't run away, but I lose combat on the left. The following, and I continue to throw these giants in front of the incarnates, and they just eat them up.
Okay.
And I don't know what turn this is, but basically, oh, this is a turn after that. Yeah. So then he gets a long roll with his steam tank into my Minotaurs, and at this point, I realize his shooting's too much. I'm not gonna be able to get to him because I didn't blow through on the right. So I take my other Wildhorn unit and I run behind the hill. At this point, I'm giving up on winning the game. Because I want to preserve points because I'm already high on 40 points. I don't want to push and get a 0. That's what I was thinking. And I think the next picture is the last picture. Basically, the Torok Anointed win combat. I get him down to just his character, and he kills the whole unit. I thought I was gonna blow through that unit. I honestly did. On the left, I think he wins on the left, which is crazy. I think I win combat, and then he shoots me down. And
yeah,
then
I don't see levies.
Yeah. And then I throw all these monsters into the incarnates, and I get them in a half strength, but they just tear through them. So at the end of the game, I've got the wild horn block and the small centaur block left, and he has taken not very much damage.
Yeah, you were close actually on the, because you got 2 and he got 3 on the objective.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty close given this situation here.
Well, he got the one Wildhorn unit. He got the centaurs, on the left, and the Minos. Yeah.
And you got the levies and the Toroks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was not a good game. He got me good. Evan, thank you very much for your game. I think I got him on the game before, but he got me on this one. I pulled the trigger in 2 spots, and neither of them blew through. I was anticipating blowing through. That's what I was thinking. I think I got his train with the Titan mortar, but I don't remember how. I think maybe the Minotaurs killed him, but then got shot down. I don't know. It's been too long since these games, but it ends up with 1 point for the Beast Herds.
Ooh, it's worse than I thought.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't good. I really feel like maybe I should have just, I hate to admit it, but should I have just cornered a castle in this game?
You know, with flags, I feel like, and his like extreme shooting advantage, I feel like you're probably going to end up with like kind of roughly the same result. Like maybe you'd eke out a few more points.
Yeah.
I think that maybe what was tough here was there was a little bit like when he made that move with the Torok, I think you could have and should have pushed much more aggressively on that left.
Yeah.
And I think that like because then the Torok get pressured, right? I think that your magic phase is so much about like stacking buffs on one key combat at a time, right? And instead you had 2 key combats at the same time, like 1 or 2 turns later than you needed.
Yeah.
Right now, hindsight's 2020. Like you could have gone through those Torok, right? Because you're like 40 attacks, spores re-rolling, you hit 30 times, you're wounding on 4s, they go through automatically. You should have done 15 wounds and basically wiped the unit, right? On average.
Yeah.
You underperformed, right? So, but it comes back to like, you know, you had 2 combats going on there. Who knows if the Centaurs might have actually won that other combat if you'd been stacking buffs on them instead, right? I think that's the one. I think that with this kind of an arrangement, you need to load a flank and push it with everything you got while you defray and delay the other flank. I think that's I don't know that you win, but like, you know, definitely that's where you could get into the more middle ground and get.
That's the better odds, yeah. That's the better odds. You're right. Yeah, I hate playing gun lines. I think it's a little bit of that I play Beast Herd so much right now, and a little bit of there's very little counterplay to gunline lists, but haven't got me.
I think this one's tough in you know, like I think this the part of the reason why ID are so good is that they can bring, you know, what I think you could easily describe as a top tier gunline.
Yeah.
But look at he's got 4
He's got
units
combat,
that can
yeah.
fight.
He's got a combat list, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not, you know, like whatever bloody remnants get through, then have to deal with 6 incarnates and a stubborn Torag anointed block. I mean, that's brutal, right?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've got a chance against every list except for Infernal Dwarves and Dread Elves. I think those are just really, really good counters against Beast Herds.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm still up. I'm still at 41 points after 3 games. Not bad.
Doing better than me. I'm like on 37 or something. So
we'll get to round 4 of Silicon Hammer in the next videos. If you're still watching, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, everybody.